Hello, and welcome back to Après STEEP. We have a ton of stuff to get to, including our April Fool's Day video, Real Deep, and the first event of TFG Season 2 Snowboard Slopestyle, which premiered this past weekend. Stay tuned. It's Après STEEP, episode 15.
Like Nick said, we'll be talking about TFG Slopestyle in the main topic, but we do have more TFG news. Your Real Steep entries are due this Sunday, April 11th, and we'll also have the rules for the TFG Backcountry Brawl posted by then.
Well, it was a bumping week for steep competitions. Shred This Spot event number 5 went down. Envy took home first place and best trick. The next Shred This Spot event is taking place in the Alps at Eveline. Those submissions are due April 22nd. And as always, you can submit your runs to the House of Shred Discord.
And finally, I highly recommend you check out both of Steep's videos from this weekend. He had a deep dive into the history of the Audi 9s competition and followed that right up with an interview with the creator himself, Nico Zasik.
Okay, main topic time, Mitch. It's time to go off. Envy was on some different stuff this weekend, dude. Not only taking away TFG Snowboard Slopestyle, but securing Shred This Spot event number 5. Not only just winning the overall event, but also taking best trick. The dude swept this entire weekend.
Yeah, he went 3 for 3 this weekend. I'm sure that's a first in Steep history with all of these events going on, but certainly could have happened at any point. I mean, he was starting to really crush some of the events. He had second place in the ski slope style and fourth place in the invitational, which combined multiple events. So you know he's a great player, but putting it all together around the same time, that man was busy.
Well, we've definitely been seeing him grow a ton, but yeah, just like you said, that tight turnaround, all of these events went down in one weekend, and he just swept the entire board. It has to be the first of any steep competition, of the community in general. Envy just had to put himself on top of everybody else with zero remorse. I absolutely love it. His runs were lights out in both events, too.
I mean, if you look at his snowboard slopestyle run, he was the only rider out of all 24 to get a 5 out of 5 from all 5 judges. A lot of 5s. Well deserved. He put such a clean run together, and I think I said this word way more than I should have in the video, but the technicality, he was pulling off everything. All the little details were there, so I can't imagine how many times he would have to run that run before he got an actual take to submit.
Yeah, and I said it even before we got the scores in the event. Before I even saw his score, I said that he also won Best Outfit for Slopestyle this past weekend. And, you know, that was just killer. I've never seen that kit before in the game. I don't think ever.
And that's what he wore too in Shred This Spot, so I don't think he'll be changing out of that outfit anytime soon. Once Riders Republic comes out, he's going to be looking for that black and gold to rock on the mountain because he found his new lucky combo.
Oh, well, yeah, it is a good luck charm for sure. So we do this after every single Tartiflette Games event. Do you have your spreadsheets pulled up so we can get a heat map and just kind of get a beat on the different score discrepancies throughout the entire pack? I know you said spots 5 to 15 were just fractions, just decimal points away from one another.
It always ends up like this, at least the recent events we've been doing. And yeah, of course I've got the sheet. I actually posted it this weekend in the Discord right after the event because people were curious to see the breakdown. So after the first round of judging, positions 4 through 8 scored a 4, and then 9 through 15 were a 3 or above, like between 3 and 4. So that was kind of the cutoff that I talk about, 5 through 15, and just very close, really hard to decide between all of those. And now that we're talking in terms of 5s and 4s and 3s, we went over this briefly when we talked about looking for different judges for the events. And the way we're doing it now is anyone can volunteer to judge, and you get to watch through all of the runs once the submissions close, and you just fill out a form. You can't score yourself, obviously, so you leave that blank if you do. But now, instead of doing different categories where we have technicality, execution, creativity, landings, editing, whatever competition, which can be a lot of work for the judges, especially with a ton of runs, the way that's going to be easiest to score a bunch of people when we get a ton of submissions, a bunch of different runs, is we're just scoring them 1 through 5. And the instructions that I gave to all of the volunteer judges is a 5 is any run you think should be a podium spot, so one of the top 3 runs in the event. A 4, they should definitely be in the top 10 or in consideration for making the top 10. A 3 should be in the top 15, so they could really fall anywhere in that 5 through 15 window. You think they could be good enough to make it in the finals, they might not be good enough to make it in the finals. You want to see the rest of the runs and judge them as well. And then a 2 shouldn't be in the top 15, and then a 1 definitely shouldn't be in the top 15. And that's hard to tell with, if there's a ton of submissions, there's going to be a lot more 1s, obviously. If there's like 100 submissions, if there's only 10 submissions, there's probably not going to be any 1s, but
yeah, we would hope.
Yeah. But if you look at this chart too, we didn't fix it at all. And we don't tell people you should only have 3 5s, like a 5 is worth a top 3 spot. You can have more 5s if you think there's a ton of runs that would deserve it. And then it just comes down to how many 5s they average. Looking at our score table, position 1, 2, and 3 were between a 5 and a 4.5 score. The people who scored a 4 that should be in the top 10 were 4 through 8. And then should be in the top 15. Anyone that scored a 3, that was the top 15. And then, should not be in the top 15, which is an average of a 2. That was all the way down to position 20. And then everyone below 20 scored a 1, kind of between a 2 and a 1. So it broke down almost exactly the way I was giving the instructions, which I found pretty cool.
That's wonderful. I know this break that we took between the 2 seasons, the biggest focus that we had was the judging formats and how we were going to make this easier on ourselves and just more enjoyable for these events. And the podium means a little bit more because there are more hands involved in the process here. So just I know that people love to time these events out. Once the submissions close, we always get 4 or 5 messages in Discord that say, hey, when's the event? When are we going to see the event? And it fluctuates a little bit just due to the time of the year and what's going on with our judges. But just for reference, with this new system in place, about how long did it take for all of our judges to get their scores back to a point where we are then ready to edit everything together and add our commentary?
It was 3 days, which is so much quicker than it used to be.
Yeah.
The snowboard knuckle huck was probably the longest one, which there was 43 entries, 42 entries, 41 entries, something like that, right?
Yeah.
There was 123 runs, and we asked our 4 judges to score each of those 123 runs on 4 different categories.
Yeah, that was just brutal.
Yeah. So that was a ton of work, and all of our events, I'd say the judging took at least a week. And, I would ask 3 or 4 people to do it, but then if 1 or 2 of them took their time, then we were waiting on them. The way we do it now is if you volunteer to be a judge, which we have like 8, I'd say right now, whenever the judging's about to happen. So submissions end for Real Steep Sunday. On Sunday, I'll post an announcement just to them saying, like this message if you want to judge this competition, because they don't have to do all of them. I just say, like it if you want to be sent the form. Then I send the form to them, tell them I told them I'd prefer to have it within a week, but this way the week can be the final deadline, and whoever has completed their form within a week, I just use those scores.
Right.
So.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you're asking more people to do work, and you take the ones who return it first.
Exactly, and did it. And then once that ends, we figure out who's in the top 10, and I'll talk with any of the judges that aren't in the top 10 or didn't enter that competition. I'll talk with them to discuss if there's any ties that really need to be decided. In this case, our podium was pretty clear from the judging, so I didn't want to mess with that too much. And 4 through 8 could have been a toss-up any sort of way. So, we just watched through, decide maybe, this one's kind of better out of these, so it could be closer to 4. But it's kind of like the scores are a little made up. Someone did ask that. The very end page where we had like Envy with a 97.2, that was just a number I came up with. But the spacing of all of those numbers on that leaderboard was reflective of their scores. So position 4 through 8 all got a 4 from the judges. So those were all, I think, between 90 and 88. So you could see it was a closer competition with them. And then Envy was way up above them.
Well, this new system seems fantastic, and it seems like it is working exactly how it was intended to. So yeah, I mean, looking forward to see how this plays out for an entire season, with some events coming up that are a little more intensive than just one run and done. But I really think that this new setup that you have in play here is going to speed everything up and make sure that our competitions are as fair as they possibly can be.
And that's what we're looking for. We're talking when Riders Republic comes out, we want to have a ton of events. We already have a ton of events planned. And with this system, it's just making it a lot quicker, a lot smoother. We could have different volunteers for different events. And if the judging comes back quickly, I mean, this one, it was 3 weeks from submissions to when both videos premiered, I believe. We could have easily done it in 2. We actually had other stuff going on that we couldn't have rushed it out. But when the judging came back in 3 days, I was like, could have been out that weekend. I mean, if this was something we were doing forever, we could probably do a whole turnaround in a week. We've gotten the filming and editing down real quick, so judging's now quick. But yeah, the idea is when Riders Republic is out, we can run multiple events at the same time. The judging's pretty quick, the filming's pretty quick. You guys get to watch a ton of great events, and I did love having both on the same day right after the other qualifiers finals within an hour.
Yeah, I did like the format of playing them both on the same day. And just jumping back to what you said about speeding through these events and how we could have a potential 5 to 7 day turnaround on a TFG event now, just because every single piece of the puzzle has pretty much been perfected with the amount of events and content that we did last season. We always joke about, we could do, a turnaround in 2 days if this was our full-time job, if we had all the time in the world, if this was the only thing that we were focusing on. And it's just a little scary that nothing has changed in our lives. We are not full-time Nick and Mitch yet, but we're able to turn it around that quick. That's just to step back a little bit and realize how fast the entire process has become, where the first event of last season, that took, 2 weeks to put together in total? It seemed like ages.
2 weeks of pretty solid effort almost every night of the week that we weren't doing Steepcast or other things, because, we had to come up with the graphics, come up with how we were going to record, fix the problems with recording, and so much more. But now we recorded both the qualifiers and the finals, commentary, videos, all of it within an hour and a half, I think, on a weeknight.
Yeah, that's no joke.
And now we don't have the video sync issues as much. We don't have the audio issues as much. And we know how to fix those. So, we recorded those and it was done within another hour, because I had already done as much as I could ahead of time, and Nick did as much as he could ahead of time. So once we recorded, we just throw it in another couple hours and the videos were done.
My favorite things to say is plug and chug. I love to plug all of the information in as early as possible so that whenever we sit down, we can just chug right along through whatever we need to get done. It's really, the system has just come together, and I cannot be more proud of all of the technical work that you do behind the scenes. You know that I would love to be behind the scenes helping you with all of these numbers and charts and graphs and decimals. I think that's a math word, but as you can see clearly by my improper use of the word decimals, I have no idea what I'm doing in that category. I'm more of the write the scripts, write the advertisements, and make the art kind of person. So just wonderful work. All of the judging, all of the ranking in this competitions is all resting on the shoulders of Mitch. So just pat yourself on the back, dude. Could not be more proud of you.
Well, thanks, buddy. And I appreciate you too.
Every single day. Well, I have one more thing that I want to touch upon from this past weekend, and that was my outfit. I'm not going to brag about it. I'm not going to compliment myself, although I was looking pretty good. But everyone seemed to comment on that 90s windbreaker that I came out with. And that just poses the question, I asked it right after the event in Discord, should 90s fashion be the theme for TFG Season 2? And it was a resounding yes. So I just want to make sure that you're on board with this, because I am certainly on board with this. If this means I can buy more vintage t-shirts and jean jackets and windbreakers, sign me up. So are you on board with it?
100% on board. I know I was rocking the all black outfit on that day, but I'm going to quickly change, head to some thrift stores, and throw on some neon clothing when I can find it.
Hey, it was grunge. You can categorize it as grunge. You were doing like a Nirvana thing. But yeah, that was just the silliest thing. We were sitting down to record, and I looked over at my girlfriend and said, "What do I wear for this?" And she goes, that silly jacket that you bought 2 years ago that you've only worn twice. And I said, you know what? I threw it on, sat down, Mitch saw me, and he goes, "Oh, so that's what we're doing." And it was off to the races. Put it in the history books. It is done.
Well, I definitely can't wait to rock a colorful outfit as well, because we know that's going to be the rest of Season 2, and we know that Riders Republic is just a blast of color, so we're going to have to match that level.
Well, thank you to everyone who joined us this past weekend for the premiere of both the qualifiers and the finals. Like Mitch mentioned in the main topic there, we showed both videos back to back, and I really like that format. It wasn't super long. The turnaround, it might have been 5 minutes in between both events, but that just gave everyone a chance to go to the bathroom, refill their popcorn, refill whatever they're drinking, and get back into the action. So I think that was a wonderful system, and it's truly a weekend party. We're just throwing down on Saturdays now, and I'm 100% here for it. Stay tuned, because Real Steep is coming up. Those submissions close on April 11th, so make sure you get your runs in as soon as possible. The date is closing in. Real Steep is going to be a trip and a half.
We're going to wrap up episode 15 with a very quick version of the Riders Roundup, so we'll jump right into the weekly challenge. The theme for this week was Sapporo in Japan, so what's your favorite, Nick?
Whoa! Well, it is a no-brainer. I'm gonna have to go with the first one that just exploded onto my screen as I opened up this link. The GTA guy. First time we've ever seen something from this creator, and what a beautiful work of art this is. I really am having a hard time deciding whether or not this was physically painted and then just overlaid with some steep graphics, or if this was all digital. I don't think this is all digital, and if it is, I need to know what kind of effects you were using to get these watercolors, because the GTA guy, this is stellar. I absolutely love that rising sun over the mountains in Sapporo with your speed skier in the background. That is just holy. To come out with something this great, dude, you are really setting the bar high for yourself. I cannot wait to see what comes next. Mitch, after I picked the best in the bunch, which one are you picking up? They're all great.
Well, he did pick one of the best ones. I'm going to go with the picture from Sofx that has the name of the mountain on it, as well as the altitude, the 1293 meters. I love this picture frame, and then having those little details on it. I believe he did a same sort of setup for a picture on one of the other mountains too, so it would be a really cool collection to have all of the different mountains that were in Steep with all of their, names and then heights on them. That would be a sweet piece of art. Hint, hint.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprising myself that I didn't go with this one with the cherry blossoms and just my biggest catchphrase, less is more. This is just simplicity at its finest. Sofx, wonderful job. Wonderful job to everybody who submitted.
Next up in our tour of the mountains, we're looking for pictures in the Cursed Mountains in the Alps. Lots of cool little hidden locations to pick from in that area, so can't wait to see what photos you have, and you can just submit them in the album linked down below.
Oh man, can't wait to see the Cursed Mountains. Thank you so much to everyone for hanging out with us and staying through the main topic I know it gets a little technical after an event, but, we have to show our work. That's the number one most important part of this, is total transparency for the entire community so that we can keep making these and we can keep it fair and we can keep it as fun as possible. I'm rambling, so let's start our tags. Mitch, where can you find us? Please help.
Almost everywhere except for TikTok and then other social medias that we're too old to understand. But you can find us on Instagram at Nick and Mitch YT, on Twitter at Nick or Mitch. We have our Discord server down below where you can submit stuff to be shown in the Riders Roundup too, and self-promo. And where else?
Yeah. No, we also have a website where you can go and find all of the rules and information for all of the Tartiflette Games events. That website, nickandmitch.com. And yeah, after that, I think that's it.
And I don't believe we said it, but yes, we are here on YouTube, so you can subscribe to our channel. You can also join as a member for some cool perks. So we got to thank our executive producer, Bone Crusher, our co-producers, It's the Mort and my mom, and then our fans and Fans Plus.
Thank you to everyone again for sticking around and watching the video. Thank you, of course, to all of our members for contributing to this channel. All of your involvement, all of your contributions are put 100% back into the channel to bring you guys the latest, the greatest, the best Steep content out there. So thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We can't wait to see you soon for Real Steep. And after saying that, I realized that we completely forgot to talk about Real Deep on April Fools. So maybe we'll do that on Discord or something. I don't know. Maybe that's next week's main topic. We'll figure it out. We will see you guys next Wednesday. I'm Nick.
And I'm Mitch.
And we'll see yous on the slopes.